friends, everybody. Today we are gathered here on Black History Month. I just want to emphasize that because this topic right here is really relevant to the whole month in general. Um, I just want to ask Irvin, have you ever dated outside of your race, like a white girl or someone that wasn't Black?
Yes, I have.
And was it successful, or did people look at you differently?
Um, People did look at me differently. And it wasn't like, they were necessarily rude or anything. It's just that they, I think people reevaluated how they looked at me. And it's not like I didn't see any support, but it's just they just think differently of you.
Okay. And so, like, did you ever bring this? Was it white or was it Hispanic?
It was white.
It was white? Okay. Did you ever bring this person to your house to meet your parents?
Yes, she did meet my parents.
And how was the reaction?
Um, Whew, this reaction was so it was really interesting. So I informed my mom, and then me and my dad, we never go on walks. We went on our first walk, and I had to tell him on that walk that she was coming over to the house and who I'd seen. Um, Necessarily, you shouldn't have to do that, but it's just that you have to know your family and you have to know the people that you're interacting with,
Okay.
and so you just mentally prep them. They met her, and shockingly, they approved. I think they expected much less,
Oh, well,
but yeah, I know it was good, but I can only speak for my mother, and she didn't really get to meet my more extended family, like my grandmother and other extended branches of the family.
okay. So going based off that experience, would you do it again?
No, no, I wouldn't.
Okay, good to know. Now, Kane, have you ever dated a white woman or anybody outside of your race?
Not white. Definitely not white. Hispanic, like once or twice, and then it's been like mostly Black girls since like I've been young. So there's that. My main thing for like the reason why I never dated white girls is just like there's like two big reasons. One, when I was like 16, my mom was like, "You better not bring a white girl home." I was like, "Bet, no issues." And then the second one was Fresh Prince of Bel-Air when Hillary brought a white man home, and everybody was just like, "Wow, wasn't expecting him to be so tall." Like they're just dancing around the fact that this man is white, like in their house, you know what I mean? And they're like an affluent Black family. So it was like a lot of my media intake kind of shied me away from that.
Okay. So, do you think there was a difference between dating someone that was of the Hispanic heritage, compared to a Black girl?
Yeah, for sure. So like, especially with my family, they're very they're eccentric. So you know what I mean? Their comments are hilarious. You know what I mean? So when I was younger, and like my sisters would ask me like, "Oh, what kind of girls do you like?" And I would be like, Spanish girls would be like, "Oh, you like, the meters." I was like, "What, bro? Like, what does that even mean? Like, what are you saying right now?" You know what I mean? And then like once again, I would still get that same rhetoric. Don't bring no white girl home. And it's not that like white people are evil, but it's just like in my family, it's not what you do, man.
Okay. Yep. That's really just wow, man. Just wow.
I just I just want to go off of what Khalil said. Yeah, I got the same thing too, and it was just kind of like, and I strayed away from it, but it just I just overseen it because I'm like, you're gonna like who you like, right?
Yeah.
You're not gonna think anything different of them.
But clearly you're traumatized, so that changed your mind forever.
Yep, I have not gone back since. Yeah, I would say that.
And now that brings us to Asia, who has a unique point of view, because you're mixed, right, Asia?
Yes, I am.
Exactly. So you have both sides.
So pretty much just like, I don't know, I guess give a little backstory. So my mother is Black and my father is white.
Really?
I'm blanking.
Now, have you ever dated anybody that was white or of different? Yeah.
So no, I've actually, yes, I've experimented like with Caucasian people, and I just, never. Why are you laughing at me?
Go on.
Sorry.
What do you mean by experimented? Have you dated or not?
Have you dated or not? That's what you're asking.
I mean, like a 6th grade relationship, if that count. But
I mean,
not.
Nah, not really. But I see what you mean.
No, but it was just like that, and I mean, like, I feel like after that 6th grade relationship, I was just like, yeah, no, it's not for me.
Okay.
I don't want somebody like my dad. No thanks.
Okay. But do you think that people look at you different, even though you are mixed, that if you date a Black man compared to a white man?
Yes, I feel like with being mixed, I feel like when, or at least for me, it was very, my family, like, they were always just wondering, like, oh, who's she gonna date? Like, which side is she gonna choose? And that's always what a lot of mixed people feel pressure from both sides when it comes to that and choosing a partner, because it's like sometimes, like, you'll choose a partner of, like for me, I chose somebody from, my mom's race, and like sometimes you feel like you're betraying your other side because you prefer to be with a side that makes you feel more comfortable, if that makes sense.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
very good insight. And now I know Angel's dreading this question. I'm still gonna have to ask it. Have you ever dated anybody of a different race?
Hell no.
So
No.
Black?
Okay, wait. Okay, so I did forget this. So I feel like I know a lot of people can relate, especially dark-skinned women. Like, definitely when we were in high school and in middle school, Janice, middle school, like, there was definitely a phase where no one liked Black girls, especially dark skins. And that's just me personally speaking. So, I did find white guys attractive. And, my mom, typical African mom, she'd be like, if you bring a white guy, hey, like, my mom was like, if you bring a white guy, they will kill you. That was already like
set in stone
for me, but like, that was just something I was attracted to, because a lot of Black guys weren't like, I like a dark skinned girl, da da da. Now, now it's totally different. They admire us. But have I gone out of my way to date? No. Have I spoke to one? I guess you could say yes, but then I really wouldn't count that. Have I kissed or anything further on? No. Would I? No. Like, I'm all about dark skin, brown skin. That's what I love. And yeah.
Okay. I feel like I almost forgot to ask myself the same question. I'm gonna give a little bit of background. So me and Angel, we went to middle school together and everything. So what she's speaking about, I can understand, because growing up, I didn't really look at skin color or race or anything. I would like white girls, I would like Asians, I would like Black girls and everything. But I basically only liked what I was shown. So if I was around a lot of white girls, then I'd like white girls. Like, I didn't really try to generalize or try to pick and choose. But I will say, as I've gotten older, my preferences have changed. Like, I'm a lot less willing to date outside of my race. Like, I just can't do it. I've never done it before. The closest I've done is dating a Colombian. That's the closest I've been to dating a white girl. Now, do I care if somebody else dates a white girl? No. But like, for me personally, I just feel like culturally there's just such a big clash that it's important for me to stay within my race, not because I'm racist or because it's different. It's just because when I have kids, I want my kids to share the same philosophies as me. I don't want any clashing. What do you guys think about that? The cultural aspect of interracial relationships.
Angel, I'll let you go first.
Okay. I was gonna say you can go first if you want. So I definitely feel like having some white people in my family now, there's definitely a cultural shock. Regardless if they've been in it for a couple of months, a couple of years, decades, I feel like the comfortability within my family alone will always be a cultural shock. And it's not anyone's fault. It's just kind of like, it is what it is. And in some terms, it's kind of just like, okay, you have to deal with it, especially if they've been there for so long. But I do have issues within my own family where it's just like, no matter how, like, people have babies with this other person, yet there's still such a cultural divide. And it's like no one's willing to speak up and communicate within that with that person, just because it's like, who are we to say our input towards that person? Because you don't want to be detrimental towards their situation. So it's just kind of like, we would rather keep it to ourselves and talk about it within ourselves rather than just speaking about it. But it's definitely visible. I feel like it's always been visible within certain situations. It's not that like that for everybody, but I'm saying from my side, it's definitely an issue.
Okay. And Irvin, do you have anything else to add on?
Um, honestly, just in general, like for my family, it wasn't exactly a cultural shock. Well, on one half it was. My mom's side, believe it or not, I have I have Brazilian cousins. I also have Asian cousins.
Asian?
Yep, Asian cousins. Yes.
Okay.
So my mom necessarily wasn't too much of a shock, but my dad is straight from the island, so
Yeah.
there was a big shock there. So, um, and just in general, like when you introduce this person into your life, it's kind of like you have to like double down on your own identity per se. And so you have to teach that person, like, this is what I do and the reasons of why I do it. And it may be different from the way you grew up and the way in the philosophies that you have, but you need to at least respect what I have, or if not, incorporate it, right?
Okay.
Because if you're going to be a part of my life.
Now, Irvin, I kind of want to know more about how you interact with this family. I didn't know you had Brazilians and Asians in your family.
So believe it or not, my godfather, who we've spoken about before, he actually has a Brazilian daughter. Um, for when I speak to my cousin, we don't haven't had too many interactions. I really felt like when when everything hit the fence, they don't interact too much with us. Well, she doesn't interact too much with us.
Wait, what do you mean by hit the fence?
So he got divorced, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So she's obviously she's still my cousin, but she's not every single family event, right?
Okay.
And then
you brought up. Go on.
And then I have Asian cousins. Honestly, I didn't like I got gigantic family. We don't clearly Haitians don't know how to keep to themselves. So honestly, I didn't even know I had Asian cousins until maybe like 2 years ago. Unfortunately, when my uncle passed.
Oh damn.
And they've been more and more a part of my life. And it's not like I treat them any differently. They're family. I just didn't know they were there.
Mm-hmm.
See, so you brought up a good point. And the point was that since they got divorced, she was less involved in your family dynamic and everything. And I truly believe, Irvin, you and me as men, when we have children, and I'm pretty sure Khalil can attest to this too. When we have children, our children will most likely be closer to their mother's side of the family. That's just basically how it goes. The mother is like, you don't agree, Angel?
I mean, I'm only speaking for myself.
Right.
I feel like it depends on, well, you finish what you were saying and then I'll just.
All right, because a lot of like custody agreements, divorces, when two parents get divorced, I've never experienced it, but when two parents get divorced, it's kind of like the mother takes the children, so she chooses the schooling for them. They're with her Monday through Friday. They're most likely around her family and her ideals and her family dynamic. So the fact that Irvin's not as close to his cousin anymore because his uncle got divorced to her mother, it's probably because he doesn't like the dads don't really get to control that dynamic because he's probably a part-time dad now, so he doesn't get to see his children that much. Therefore, family events, she's not going to be over there for. Is that wrong, Irvin?
Their divorce was a little unique, so I can't really I can't really say too much about that. But I'm gonna agree half on that.
Okay.
Believe it or not, I can't really attest to that because my Asian cousins, one my uncle passed away. My cousins were more like more part of my life than before. And now it's like at least every other family event, they're there. And that wasn't a thing before. Literally, I didn't know they existed. Like I had a whole 13-year-old cousin I didn't even know about.
So was this marriage canon, bro? Like, was this like his first marriage?
Yes, it was his first marriage.
I'm talking about the uncle that has his children come from Asian heritage.
Yes, Filipino. Yep.
So you didn't know you had cousins until 2 years ago?
So like when I tell you my grandfather had like 15 plus kids, it's very difficult to manage each branch of the
Trust
family.
me, I'm well aware.
So did he have 15 plus kids?
hmm
Like, okay, I didn't, you know what I'm gonna say? I didn't want to say it. That's why.
Yeah. No, Irvin, but my question is, right? Because
hmm
have you known this uncle your whole life? Or did
Yeah.
you just find out about him?
It's not like I didn't find out about him, but you know how you meet someone as a kid and you just don't see them again for a very, very long
Oh,
time?
okay. So he's
Yeah.
probably
So
not the first
he was,
uncle then.
mhm.
He's
He's
probably
not
not
my
like
first.
immediate family then. That's okay.
He's not a immediate family now.
All right. That was my question. I'm like, if he's immediate family, you're just finding out he's a 13-year-old. Like, there's a whole host of.
You got it
Oh.
easy.
That's why I was confused. I was
I was like,
like,
whoa.
But
like,
I will attest that
You're
I'm very close to my mother's side than my father's side.
okay. And Asia, I'm glad you're back for this. We were just talking about how, children of divorce or even just children in general, they basically side with their mother's heritage and their mother's side of the family. Can you attest to that even more?
I feel like I can definitely agree, at least in my sense.
Right.
Like even though my mom's not really close to her family, like I didn't really like grow up going to like cousins' houses or like anything like that. But my mom had a lot of chosen family, and all of the chosen family that she chose, were people of color, most of them Black. And that was just like in my environment a lot. Those were the people I played with, made friends with, made a lot of lifelong connections. And yeah, I can just say, I was just gonna say, just to end what I was saying, I definitely say I vibe more with my Black side.
Okay. So like if something happened tomorrow and they were like either pick your mom or dad's side to contact, who would you contact?
That's a hard question because I can't really be like,
it's a hypothetical. It doesn't have to be like, you know what I'm saying? Just like
I'm too nice. Because I mean, like my white family, even though we aren't like, the closest of close, like they're not horrible people.
Right.
They just live in other states and live other lives. And yeah, that's just kind of what it is. So, I mean.
wait, so is your Black side all in Mass?
Well, majority of them, yeah.
Okay, so do you think if your white side was in Mass, you would be close with them too?
Is your white side in Mass?
No, she said
not at all.
Oh, okay.
No, they're out. Out.
That's a good point.
No, that is a really good point because I honestly have never nobody's ever asked me that before.
Yeah, just because my family, like on both sides, they're very big. Like Africans, they're very, very.
Mm-hmm.
They just pop out babies.
Yeah.
So on my dad's side alone, there's 16, and out of the 16, my dad brought majority of them here.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's like 13 here, and we're all in Mass. And even like to this day, my cousins and I, we always speak about this. We're always like, no matter if one of us go to Texas, Atlanta, LA, when we start having kids, we will move back to Mass. And we always say that. We're always just like, we don't want to be that type of family who won't grow within themselves, but we want our family to keep that tight knit because we're already so close. And even on my mom's side, like that's why I kind of disagreed with you, Janice, when you said, oh, like, more towards the mom side. Because personally, growing up, I was more towards my dad's side. And even now I'm still closer towards my dad's side. And going through like middle school and high school, that's when I started to get closer to my mom's side. And I'm still close with like my cousins and stuff, but my mom's side is just so extended on top of that. It's just kind of like, I have cousins who are Puerto Rican. I have cousins who are, Dominican, and they don't live far from me. They live in Lowell. That's like what, 20, 30 minutes from where I live. but it's just kind of like we didn't grow up together compared to my cousins on my dad's side.
Right.
So relatively saying, like, we're not strangers, but outside of like certain events or like sad to say like funerals recently within the recent years, we don't link up. So that's just really what it is. But I would definitely say like my family were just so close knit. So we're always just like, no matter what, once we're all ready to have kids, you're back to mass. We always say that. And we literally just said that like a couple weeks ago because we don't want to be restrained from, prospering within ourselves, but then we also don't want our family to not be close.
Okay. Speaking to your point about, being closer to your dad's side, for me, I'm close to both my mom and dad's side, but the biggest issue is that on my dad's side, I'm the oldest. So, and nobody else really has, like, my dad had 3 kids and it's just me and my siblings. So, and then his brother had a daughter, but I haven't seen her in like 10 years. So it's just us 4. So I don't really have that much cousins on my father's side, but on my mom's side, I have like 12 plus cousins. I'm the second oldest. Like I have cousins on top of cousins. So I feel like me just growing up with kids around my age played a big role in me being closer to one side. It's just the cousins. What about you, Khalil?
So for me, it's weird. We low-key live the same life, Janice, because that's essentially no bullshit, bro. It's kind of crazy. That's really how it is for me, bro. Because it's like, on my right side, I'm saying right side. On my dad's side, I'm Haitian. On my mom's side, I'm saying American. I'm saying
Right.
African American. And I'm relatively close to both, but it's just like, going with that same theme of I was with my mom Monday through Friday, and then I would see my dad on the weekends. Both families are relatively close knit. A little more so in my dad's case because with Haitians, they go to like one of 5 capitals. You know what I'm saying? They're usually in Boston, or they're in like Florida.
Yeah.
Or they're in New York, or they're in Quebec. You know what I'm saying? They're always in a couple of places.
Right.
And a lot of my family, at least on my dad's side and my mother's side, but a lot more so from my dad's side, they're in Boston. So I always had that, you know what I'm saying? Like on, Easter dinner, we do that, Christmas dinner, like when I was growing up, you know what I'm saying? So I was really close knit to my uncles and all that. And then to that same thing you were saying, on my dad's side, I'm the oldest. So my brothers, they're both 7 because they're fraternal twins. And then on my mother's side, I'm the youngest because I have 2 older sisters. So it's like, it's just a weird thing. I'm very close to both sides, but my dad's side is it's kind of, I don't know. It's a closer feeling sometimes.
Okay. One more question for you guys before we leave. If you guys have friends who are dating people of different races and everything, do you look down on them? Do you judge them? Do you send them memes in their DMs? Like Khalil, I want you to go first.
Listen,
I want Khalil to go first. Tell the viewers what you be doing.
Listen, man. Look. If I knew you, all right? If I went to school with you, if we ever played ball together, if I ever seen you, and you've ever kiki'd with me on Facebook about the things I say about the Caucasus, and then in turn, I see you on one of your many stories dating, schmoozing, or fraternizing in any sort of way with a white woman, you are simply going to receive one of 27, yes, 27 limited edition memes with the greatest Black edits you have ever seen. And it'll only be that picture. I don't ever judge my friends. I really do it all, to be satirical. Definitely love who you want to love. My whole thing is, you know what I mean? I just want, like, with my kids, like, you know what I'm saying? When I have kids, I don't want them to be making jokes about y'all wives. You know what I'm saying? Like, why Auntie Peggy, why her potato salad tastes like that? Why are there raisins in that diet? I don't know how to tell them.
Raisins.
I don't know how to say that. I don't know what to say. You know what I mean? I don't know what to say to my child about Auntie Peggy's potato salad that got the raisins in it. Nothing that's going to be constructive. So it's just like, but in reality, you know what I'm saying? All jokes aside, date who you want to date, love who you want to love. You know what I'm saying? It's all peace and love on my side. Until I see you, because you will catch the memes.
Asia, are you judgmental towards your friends dating of different races?
No. And no, when, like, it all depends on the person, okay? Yeah. I think it's very important, especially if you're not a person of color, to acknowledge your privilege and speak out about it. And, yeah, just acknowledge it. And if you are dating someone who is like that and who's not a person of color, then I'm not judging you. I mean, hey, I say if you want to chill with, people of color, you want to chill with Black people, the protests are happening, things are clearly have been happening, you rock with us, pull up, say something, don't stay quiet, you know what I mean? And if that's the type of person you're with, then okay, like I don't care. But if you're, with somebody who doesn't acknowledge their privilege and isn't aware of what's going on in the world or pretends not to be aware,
Yep.
That's when I'm judging.
That's facts. Irvin, do you judge your friends for dating white women or try to make them date white women just to have a joke?
It's only because it's you, Jedi, so I make this joke. I'm gonna keep it 100. It's just because it's you.
Yep.
But I don't necessarily look down on anyone for dating white people. I just for example, I've done it, right? So I'd be hypocritical to come at someone's neck for doing something that I did. Even though it's been years now since I've done it, I still have to admit that I've done that.
Right.
So it's not like I'm gonna come at someone for it. But you, buddy, I just gotta keep the joke.
Okay.
You got it.
Oh, Angel, your turn.
In regards to just talking about it with like my friends and like our group chat. I mean, I wouldn't make fun of someone who's dating somebody outside of their race. You can't stop somebody from, loving or liking whoever they like. Just because I said I have, my family, everybody, Puerto Rican, Dominican, et cetera, et cetera. When it comes to one of my friends, we don't make fun of, but, we can tell she steers towards one race. So sometimes we are kind of like, Denise, here's, X, Y, and Z about a Dominican guy. And for me personally, I don't do it as much just because I really feel like compared to everybody else in our group, she kind of gets offended. Like, who are you to like say that it's not okay for me to date, outside of my race? Right. And especially since now she's in Florida, in Miami, there's a diverse group of people, but there's a heavy population of Hispanic people. It's just kind of like it's on set within that topic. So I feel like me personally, no, but collectively we throw jokes here and there, but I'll never make fun of somebody on who they love. Love is love, and that's all that matters.
That's the most important part. Love is love.
Yes, love is love.
You definitely can't control who you love. I know we may try to force ourselves to be one way, strictly dating Black people, and that's all fine and everything. But I think it's really important to encourage people to, if your heart wants to be with someone, then don't let race get in the way of that. Unless they're a terrible human being, then I'm gonna talk you out of it. That's just me. I'll tell my friends all the positives and the cons about dating specific people. I'll keep it real with them. I just want my friends to be happy. I don't care who they're dating. I don't care what race. I don't care if they're purple. Like, I just want them. But also, I think Asia spoke to this. If you are dating somebody who's white, but like they are not aware of the sacrifice or just anything that's going on in your life. For example, like if you're dating a white woman and she's getting loud with you in public and you're a Black man, we're gonna walk away because that's a setup for us. But like if she can't understand stuff like that, then I'm gonna encourage you not to be with her for your own safety. Not because I'm trying to be a dickhead. I'm just like, listen, use common sense. We are like, they see us from our skin. Like, we may have our names and everything, but that's not what they see us as. They see us as a statistic. So we have to be aware of our own miscomings too, and not just hold other races accountable because we're the one that chose to be with that person. So we have to know them inside and out before we make that decision. But yeah, that's all I have for today. Thank you guys for joining me on this beautiful